What about the fact that several years ago there was an American diplomatic official who said that if you are a Kenyan with deep pockets or reasonable political clout and you commit a crime, you do not need to worry about hiring a lawyer because you can in fact buy a judge.
That perception, that thinking, it is still there because from the people's views you've collected from Kenya, people are talking of big fish. These are the people that are now, that's the kind of name they are given. These are people who are really powerful and nothing can be done. They can buy a judge, they can get the best lawyers, they can always have money to raise quickly, to free themselves, unlike some people who may be given a bond or a bail and they can't come out. That in some truth, it makes sense, but again, now when you see cabinet secretary, finance minister in court, I think you can say things are a bit different now compared to previous years, because Kenyatta administration, previous administration of Kenyatta, last 5 years, he was telling of cabinet secretaries and the ministers to step aside. But now we're seeing ministers told not to step aside, but taken to court. And that what makes now things a bit different, despite saying that many people who are powerful cannot be taken to court or cannot be convicted. That seems to be changing at the moment.
How do you respond to some doubting Thomases that what you are probably looking at is a sort of sophisticated government public relations gimmick, a sort of public relations gimmick that in fact the government is merely taking people, in their words, not mine, through the motions?
Yeah, if you look at the Transparency International Global Barometer Index, you could, for example, in Africa, you can see half of these Kenyan Africans feel that corruption has been getting worse, but also the same number are really hopeful that something can be done, and they're not really pessimistic, they're optimistic. That I think, as you mentioned, there are some Kenyans who view the whole thing, because the whole issue has always been, there's not people being taken to court, or presented to court, but the issue has always been a conviction. Do we really have people who have been convicted? And the answer is no. And when you think that way, then you see these public relations is the usual African way of doing things when it comes to corruption, not only in Kenya, but in the continent. People, when they see a big fish, as they call them, or a big person, or someone who is powerful being convicted, then people's perception can change and they can say, oh, this is not a public relation. This is something that is different we've not seen before.